Welcome to the Air Conservation Commission meeting. It is January 25th, Thursday here in beautiful Air Town Hall. I'd like to start by saying that I had a great time on our sidewalk.
Lots of interesting things to see.
Well, it was a great walk. It's a beautiful day to be out there. And
Jess, I'm sorry. Missed it because it was, it's a good one, really.
You would have absolutely fallen through the ice. There's no question in my mind.
Other things of consequence.
Was it ice falling?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Any changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay. I would accept a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. It is just about 7:15. Why don't we jump into reopening our public hearing for DEP file number 100-0420, an NOI for 217 West Main Street. Good evening, and you are?
That's right. Kyle Burchard with GPR.
Well, good evening, Kyle.
I'm here with Scott Smyers of Oxbow Environmental. Coming out of the sidewalk, if I may take this.
Yes, you may. You can have this too.
Thank you. That'll be helpful.
Is stuff going to pop up behind my head?
It will, although the majority of what it is that I'd like to pop up behind your head, above your head over there is... Which one is this?
Thomas DiPietro, we met this guy.
Okay. So, from the site walk, at the end of the site walk, we had discussed that there was some information I was in pursuit of this Monday from Devon's, and I did meet with Ron Ostrowski, the environmental, O-S-T-R-O-W-S-K-I.
Ron?
Ron, yep.
Okay. What's his position?
And he is the environmental keeper, manager, I guess. I don't know what his title is for mass development.
Yeah.
But the more informative information came from John Mark Arell, MARC-AURELLE, who had provided to us the stormwater management report for the Jackson Road improvements, which is a thick document there, DEP, Mass DEP number 352-0040. Also talked to him about other improvements and conditions that were affecting Willowbrook, and prepared a little white paper for the commission. As we had discussed, we wanted to try to summarize what it was that we were finding, and if I may, Mr. Chairman, if it's agreeable to you, just read this. It's just 3 pages. I promise I'll be as expedient as I can.
And animated.
3 whole pages.
If I may, sir?
Please do.
Okay. On behalf of the proponent, Calco LLC, in pursuit of the proposed self-storage development at 217 West Main Street in Ayer, Mass., GPR sought the environmental expertise of Oxbow Associates, Inc. in the summer of 2017 to investigate and review and delineate the wetland resource areas on the subject land parcel. GPR had previously subcontracted for wetland flagging and stream channel delineation in anticipation of defining riverfront resource areas on the property. However, the previous consultant could not define the resources sufficiently for final design. When Oxbow began a formal investigation, they informed GPR that the stream was not flowing through the entire length of the channel, and that it would be appropriate to pursue the necessary documentation steps to declare the stream to be intermittent and not perennial. Oxbow was then authorized to proceed with the documentation, and their report, dated September 1st, 2017, was submitted as part of Mass DEP number CE-100-0420. On January 11, 2018, Mass DEP issued comments on the notice of intent filed with Air Conservation Commission under DEP CE-100-0420, one of which asked, has the brook upstream of where the photographic evidence was collected been evaluated to determine whether the stream is significantly affected by water supply withdrawals, wells, direct withdrawals, impoundments, or other human-made flow reductions or diversions in accordance with 310 CMR 10.5821D. It was known that Willowbrook on Devens had been determined to be intermittent at Cavite Street and that there were no upstream well withdrawal points in the watershed. However, a full evaluation had not been completed of the upstream areas and investigations have commenced since that time. Some information provided herein is historic, relayed from the experience and observation of others, but there are several specific points which illustrate why Willowbrook is an intermittent stream channel. The Fort Devens Museum provides a comprehensive historic background on its website, The sequence of significant modern land development activities affecting the watershed of Willowbrook began in World War I, rose again during World War II, followed by a long period without much development until the Base Realignment and Closure Act, BRAC, in 1996, when mass development began Devon's current phase of transitional redevelopment. It's unclear from available records as to the precise manipulations of Willowbrook over time. Willowbrook is often listed as Willow Branch on older maps and is approximately located at the low point of the natural topography where a stream channel ought to be, running approximately 1.5 miles from the discharge of Robbins Pond on Devens, northwards to its confluence with the Nonoquacious Brook in Ayer. Approximately 950 feet upstream of its Nonoquacious Brook confluence, Willowbrook passes through a 6-foot by 6-foot stone culvert under existing railroad tracks. The culvert and railroad predate the existence of Devens by over 70 years. This section of the then Fitchburg Railroad, now owned by the Boston and Maine Railroad and operated by MBTA, opened in 1844. Whether or not it was altered from its original course to drain through the railroad culvert, the drainage way of Willowbrook has always been vital for drainage from the farmland, Camp Devens, Fort Devens, and now simply Devens. It's clear that the channel experienced numerous hydraulic and hydrologic flow regime changes and manipulations throughout the modern era. It is evident that Willowbrook experiences periods of flooding, high flows, low flows, and no flow. This variable flow and perhaps other unknown, undefined anthropogenic interventions have transported stormwater and suspended solids into the subject wetland. Suspended solids are deposited in low gradient streams and wetlands, such as the wetland system between West Main Street and the railroad. Therefore, without ongoing maintenance of the ditched stream channel, portions of this have filled in and caused it to meander away from its former position as illustrated on the USGS map location. It's also evident from a land use and stormwater regulatory standpoint that Willowbrook has been subjected to the flash flow, high volume effects of its urbanized watershed, with varying quality and quantity controls changing over time. It's likely that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers recognized the detrimental erosive effects of the Camp Fort Devens developments on the stream channel, and they employed at least 3 mitigation measures of which we know since 1917. One being control structure at the outlet of Robbins Pond with the ability to place and remove batter boards for flow control. 2, stone armoring in open sections of the channel. 3, culverting of large segments of the channel. Then in 2014, Mass Development put forth the reconstruction and design of Jackson Road, Phase 4, plan under Mass DEP number 352-040, that achieved the following after construction was completed in 2016. Daylighting approximately 400 feet of a culverted section of the stream up to Cavite Street. 2, installation of curbing along Jackson Road. 3, installation of deep sump footed catch basins, 4 sediment forebays, 1 water quality swale, and 1 infiltration detention basin. The net results of these Jackson Road improvements help complete the story of Willowbrook's long journey through urbanization, fire restoration, and its present-day stabilization as an intermittent stream channel in the following ways. Removing the culverted portions of the stream eliminates the need for Robbins Pond to serve as a flushing reservoir, and that flashboards are no longer used according to Mass Development Engineering. Curbing Jackson Road greatly reduces sedimentation into Willowbrook and increases the time and concentration for stormwater flows into the channel. Water quality and infiltration basins help recharge the aquifer and reduce volume of runoff within the channel. Water quantity detention basin reduce the erosive high-intensity flash flow rates of discharge that have done damaging work on the channel, allowing natural sediment deposits and vegetation to return and thus keep Willowbrook stable. The stormwater report for DEP 3520040 details and calculates how the improvements and controls reduce peak flow discharges by at least 50% across all higher storm events along this 4,000 linear foot of improvements. With current Mass DEP stormwater regulations, all new developments will be required to meet or reduce their peak flows going forward, but it's clear that the changes from previous work under DEP 3520040 greatly improve water quality, groundwater recharge, and the unexpected side effect is having restored a more appropriate flow regime to the whole stream channel alignment within and downstream of Devens. It was clear in August 2017, during 4 non-drought days, that the Willowbrook Channel entering the railroad culvert downstream of the proposed 217 West Main Street project was not flowing. It was also clear at the Air Conservation Commission site walk on January 20th, 2018, that upon breaking the layer of ice that had flash frozen above the stream channel, there was no continuous flow under the ice towards the culvert. We did observe very shallow sheet flow within the channel intermittently, both close to West Main Street and near the outlet culvert at the railroad. However, there were long stretches of dry channels and dry wetlands between the observations of flow in the upper sections of braided, unmapped channels and lower mapped section of Willowbrook. In Oxbow Associates' opinion, the absence of continuous flow during early January signifies that this stream is indeed intermittent, as flow is normally higher in winter compared to dry parts of the summer, when vegetation is not contributing to the transportation of water from wetlands surrounding the stream. In the final response to the Mass DEP comment from January 11, 2018, upstream of the railroad, where Willowbrook has now been observed 5 times within 12 months during non-drought periods to be dry, there are no known authorized upstream water supply withdrawals, wells, or direct withdrawals. The only known impoundments or other human-made flow reductions or diversions were implemented by DEP 3520040 for the overall benefit of the stream and aquifer themselves. It is possible that Willowbrook may have at one time run perennially when there were no drainage controls and conventional drainage design, which directed stormwater from impervious surfaces into the outlet channel as quickly as possible. Manipulations of the system over time kept the status quo of flash flows and direct drainage connections to the stream channel. Modern drainage analysis methods and measures have since provided ways to restore the stream closer to its original hydrology and hydraulics for a stable stream channel. In the case of Willowbrook, this means an intermittent stream channel. So since we met, there was further discussion of a minor nature with the building commissioner about parking spaces, and there was no change to the overall footprint. I'm just going through current plans. There were, however, the addition of to zoom. So there are 4 parking spaces placed back here along the exact same pavement line that had been previously shown to the commission.
Hold down control and spin the wheel.
Yeah, I tried it.
So it didn't work?
It didn't do that. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No. That's odd.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why. So anyway, I just wanted the commission to be aware that there's been no change since the plans that were provided prior to the site walk that we looked at that pulled the limits of clearing back generally along, only to the extent of the 50-foot buffer, minor punches through here just for the tie out of the embankment that's required. The flood storage, compensatory flood storage that had been here got pulled in, a little bit punched out here. I have a drawing that shows the original clearing limits that were provided, and then this red line that showed this is the original limits of work, and then now we see where it's pulled in. I guess I should have used another color, but this is where it's been pulled back into, and it's the same all along here. So, other than that, there's nothing here except for was a colorized landscaping plan that we presented to the planning board. I don't have any other information that we acquired.
Just to make sure I'm clear, how many, are those 3 parking spaces on the left, those were added by the?
No, I'm sorry. This is the previous image. It was nicely colorized, so I thought I'd show it. No, actually, the parking spaces moved to the back.
Oh,
The front spaces here, just one space, the handicap space moved sideways, and these 3 went away, and the building went back to its frontage up here, outside the 100-foot buffer.
But then the other buildings got cut back.
And the other buildings got cut back, so,
yeah, so everything was paired, I see, I
yeah,
see,
whoops.
I see.
Right, so this one, these spaces
All the way
returned
out.
to being building.
Gotcha,
But the overall imperviousness of the project did not change. Those limits did not change.
just shifted the parking spots.
It shifted the parking spots, changed these buildings a little bit, and yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it didn't, trying to
Address,
figure out what happened.
all right, addressing a planning board comment.
Okay.
So we don't actually have this plan.
Right,
So did
So
the
the-
building sizes change?
building sizes did change.
They got smaller?
It almost exactly offset.
So you cut the middle building and the building on the right, they got smaller to accommodate this space.
Right, there had to be a 20-foot drive aisle for the fire department to be able to get around, so we preserved that. And the reduction here was about 300 square feet, the reduction here was about 300 square feet, and the replacement here was about 600 square feet. So it was almost an even swap of building area.
But as you said, the long story short is, there's no change to the amount of impervious surface.
That's correct.
Okay. So, so thank you for the white paper. The other day, I understand, you had reached back out to Megan, so when we were on our walk, we said, we were actually reading directly from it where it said, has the stream been significantly affected by water supply withdrawals, wells, direct withdrawals, impoundments, or other human-made flow reductions or diversions? And so we said, well, the only question we had was, what does the nice lady from the DEP think about the work that happened on Devon's? And so she did write back to us.
She did. She called me this morning, and then wrote this email, which I have a copy of for everybody.
I can read out loud if you want.
Yes, that would be great.
I was jealous, Kyle. So this is from Megan Selby at DEP, and she wrote, good morning, Joanne. A hydrogeologist would be able to evaluate whether a well or upstream roadway improvement has affected Willow Brook. Some things they would consider during their evaluation are the well pumping rates during the time the photographs were collected, soil types on and near the site, and whether the roadway stormwater improvements are effectively acting as an impoundment or diversion or reducing flows. I think it's important for all the potential impacts to be identified and evaluated so that the commission has a complete picture in order to make their determination. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other questions. So, as we discussed that day, thank you. You done,
I
Peter?
sent this to you?
Yes.
Yes.
You can take that back. Thank you. So as we discussed the other day, our only concern was making sure that we follow the letter of the law for the evaluation, especially with regard to what the DEP lady was looking for. Do we have any luck locating any hydrogeologists?
I talked to a fluvial geomorphologist this afternoon at a company called Interfluve.
You're not making that up?
I could not be making that up, no.
What was it? The title was
Fluvial geomorphologist.
Yes, fluvial, right?
Fluvial geomorphologist.
Yep.
That's not your actual title, is it? That came right off the tongue so easily.
No, I've worked with fluvial geomorphologists before, and
Oh.
when they evaluate the work that's done on a stream channel over time and do stream restoration efforts to return it to its original states, usually in impaired watersheds, urbanized watersheds, and so on.
Yeah. He may be more than we're actually looking for.
Okay.
But he does work with regular hydrogeologists, like
So thank you for looking. So when Joanne said that she had gotten the letter and that DEP recommended hiring a hydrogeologist, we just tried to see if there was some way that we could find one or some that we could discuss during the meeting. Do you folks know of hydrogeologists in the area?
Well, we talked about that to some degree, and I don't know if that was necessarily a recommendation. She was specifically asked the question, what can we find out about, how could we investigate this? She said a hydrogeologist could provide additional information, and then it says at the end that you could use that information. You just need to get as much information as you can to identify the conditions, and I think that we have to keep in mind the context of the stream, the watershed, the history, and whether or not a hydrogeologist would really be that helpful. I mean, and one of the key things that I think Kyle found out in that project that you were quite familiar with, were telling us about at the hearing, was that it reduced the flow rate of 50%, right? The peak flow.
50 to 60% for 2, 10, 25.
So that gives us a great amount of information, I think, on that this is not just a small project. There's this big scale to which and there's a number now on it that we can stamp on that, and then the additional information we somewhat have addressed before, but is summarized nicely in Kyle's letter, is about the nature of the wetland system that's there. And so what I'm proposing is that we've provided quite a bit of information here, and a hydrogeologist, I don't know, would be really that much more useful to get into the extent of the geomorphology of the entire region if we already know that this project upstream of there has certainly had a reduction on it. But I think the key thing is not necessarily always focusing on the scientific aspects of the geology, but the terminology and the regulations. And if I may, back to the definitions, and the part of the regulations that this is all framed under is under 10.58, what's the subsection? 1F, and that is rivers and streams that are perennial under natural conditions but are significantly affected by drawdown from withdrawals of water supply wells, direct withdrawals, impoundments, or other human-made flow reductions or diversions shall be considered perennial. But I think focusing on the beginning of that sentence rather than the end of the sentence is something that I believe is important, which is rivers and streams that are perennial under natural conditions, right? So this stream has not been under natural conditions since before the farmers got here. What's our frame of reference?
Well, I disagree with that, because there are so many streams in the state of Massachusetts that have been dammed, right?
Right.
So a stream can be dammed, right, and then right, and then dammed again, but they're still considered, streams, or rivers. Rivers can be dammed as well.
Right.
Excuse me. We had another. You actually, Kyle, had another communication with Megan today.
That's right. I was asking the question. I was confused about this point about what would be man-made.
Thank you.
Impoundment, or how is that definition, that phrase in the definition of an intermittent stream applied to the improvements that were made at Jackson Road? And Megan called me back and we talked about it, and she had said, there's not a DEP policy as to exactly what that means, man-made changes, impoundments, and so on. But she was saying that there's, in her understanding, any impoundment means it is equated to a dam, and any diversion would be something that's actually diverting flow from the main channel to, say, a mill or something like that. So that impoundments, as in stormwater basins that are treating, collecting the water, treating and infiltrating it before it gets to the stream channel is really not what that's about. So I was very glad to have that clarified.
I wish she had put that in her email. So,
Me too.
so where we started is that under the regulation very specifically says, again, just as you read, Scott, was it a perennial stream before? And so our first place where we would look is the USGS map, and it's a perennial stream on the USGS map. And I can tell you it flowed water before. It says, as she notes in her email and as it notes in the requirement, has it been significantly affected by a water supply withdrawal, direct withdrawal, impoundment, or other human-made flow reduction or diversion? And as you mentioned, a diversion or a dam, but it seems like the work that they did would be considered a flow reduction. And so that's why we wanted to just ask and say, we certainly don't want to get denied. We don't want to do this and send it to DEP and have DEP say, well, you didn't find all the information. Was it affected by a human-made flow reduction? And so our question was, well, who would evaluate that? Who would tell us that it was affected by a human-made flow reduction? And that's why she wrote, and she said, a hydrogeologist would be able to tell you if it was affected by a flow reduction. She says very clearly, I think it's important for all the potential impacts to be identified and evaluated. And so as we discussed, we're not the best people to evaluate whether it was a flow reduction. So then you talked to her and said, well, human, etc., dams, and she writes back, Kyle, at this part of the process, the commission is the issuing authority, and it is their responsibility to make the determination of whether the stream is significantly affected by, quote, water supply withdrawals, wells, direct withdrawals, impoundments, or other human-made flow reductions or diversions, unquote. The commission asked how that might be evaluated, and my comment was that a hydrogeologist would be qualified to evaluate the areas that they are concerned with, but it certainly does not mean that is the only option. It is up to the commission to consider the information that you present, and they also have the ability to request additional info if they feel they need it. That's the email that she wrote to you. Thank you. I guess, so we had two parts to this. So the first one is, obviously, we have a USGS map with a blue stream on it, and we have your observations over 4 days, plus our observations on site that day. And I guess that's where we want to just be really clear. And so, like we said, as we were leaving, boy, it sure seems like you found 4 dry days, and we're not experiencing significant flow today. There you go. But the regulation says, was it affected by humans, if I may? And that was why we asked, and then she's given us direction. And so we're in a bit of a quandary. Cal?
Mr. Chairman, I would, just listening to this, I'm trying to put this all in perspective. It seems to me like your first question that was directed at a hydrogeologist to determine was, has it affected the stream flows? That's what a hydrogeologist would tell us. And I would submit that that report answers that question very carefully and concisely. It says, yes, and here's the magnitude of the reduction of the stream flow. And it's what you observed in the field, what everybody observed in the field, and it's our understanding, based on the regulations and how this is all going to work, that that's a permanent condition. There's not going to be any additional development on Devons because of stormwater management regulations that puts more flow into that channel that's not controlled coming off the site. So the most flow that will be in there is what's there now, and in the future, if they develop, it's going to reduce that flow even more, which is the nature of stormwater management. So I think the question you're wrestling with is not, has this reduced the flow? I think we could stipulate that it has, based on what you've seen and what's in that report. I think the question is, now that we know that a man-made diversion has permanently reduced the flow, what do the regulations tell us? What does DEP tell us to find based on that? And I think the regulations are unclear. I don't think it says if there's a permanent man-made diversion and it reduces it to an intermittent channel, you can find it's an intermittent channel. But I also don't think it says if it's a permanent diversion that reduces the flow, you need to find that it's a river, even though no point in the future will it be a river. So I would think we're going back to the DEP and saying, you asked for a hydrogeologist, we've got something even better. We've got the drainage report that explains what the flow is actually doing and how it's being reduced, and we've observed that in the field. So now the question is, DEP, what do we need to find with respect to this river? Do we have the right to say it's now permanently an intermittent stream based upon the improvements that were made to drainage on Devon's? Or do we have to resort back to looking at the USGS and saying it's a river then, so now that it's still a river? In which case I would think at that point we would come back and say, okay, so we're back to then evaluating the stream based upon what the regulations say about dry days or not dry days.
Can I interject? So it's also a linguistic sort of issue, because if you read the docs, it's really not 4 consecutive days.
4 days.
But it's 4 days over 12 consecutive months. So
But it can be 4 days in a row.
I disagree with that.
No, that's,
Well,
Because if you do 4 consecutive days in the month of August, in the middle of a drought, that doesn't really tell you.
Hold. Please, let's.
Yeah,
Hold
it
on,
doesn't
gentlemen.
really
Hold
tell
on.
you whether the stream is truly intermittent or not.
Well,
To really evaluate the biology of a stream, it really should be 4 consecutive days over 12 consecutive months,
Or you say
meaning
four
four
non-consecutive.
I mean, 4
Non-consecutive.
non-consecutive, right? So, and they do state that it really shouldn't be done in dry months like August and September.
well, I have to. I'm not sure that it says that in the regulation.
Well, it says.
I just want to be very clear, because it says,
Where are you reading?
I'm reading on Part D, so I'm in 10.58, Section 1,
Yeah.
Part D. It says, because I just want to be really clear about this,
Okay.
because I unfortunately, I think we're in different spots here. I don't have an issue with 4 days in a row. I'm not saying that they were 4 fantastic days, and it wasn't that we were in basically drought conditions, but the state didn't declare a drought. So this says, a documented field observation shall be made by a competent source and shall be based upon an observation made at least once per day over 4 days in any consecutive 12-month period during a non-drought period on a stream not significantly affected by the items we just talked about. It doesn't, I understand what you're saying. If you wanted to know more about a stream,
Right.
you would need to collect days at different times of the year, but the regulation doesn't
Well, the
stipulate
word-
to that.
The wording in the appendix under direct observations of no flow on page, I don't even have a page number here. I mean, it says, even though watershed size and geology are the most important characteristics for determining stream stats, the methods outlined above still predictive and may be overcome by direct observation. As a fail-safe mechanism, any stream must be classified as intermittent if it is observed not flowing for 4 days in a consecutive 12-month period, right? I mean, that sentence alone just says that you really should observe it over 12 consecutive months.
I don't.
Well, actually, I mean, if you were, why would you put in over
12
12 consecutive months, or you could just put in 4 days?
Just 4
I
days
think-
of any.
I think what they're saying is, so what I think they're actually saying is, unfortunately, I think it goes against your argument. What I believe they're saying is that if they showed up on January 1st, February 1st, March 1st, and again on April 1st, and they had 4 dry days, if those fell within 12 months, then that's an intermittent stream. If they picked 2 days that happened in 1999 and 2 days that happened in 2001, and they said, see, 4 days, that would be, so what the state is saying is that it has to be dry over the period of an observation period of 1 year. And you have to find 4 times during that 1 year. Basically what it's saying is if you can find 4 times during 1 year, boom, it has lost its perennial stream. It almost works in the reverse of what you're hoping
But it
for.
doesn't make sense. I mean, you can, if you wanted to make the argument, you could pick 4 days in the month of August and say, oh, I'm going to go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and dry, therefore intermittent. It does
But
not.
that's actually what the regulation says.
But I don't.
It's bad wording.
It's bad
It might be
wording.
bad wording, but that's a test,
It's
that's how it's been
really
interpreted.
bad wording.
Okay, but hold on a sec. Hold on, gentlemen. But it's the wording we have. I'm not telling you that I think it's fantastic. If the only thing you could do is go to DEP and say, look, I tell you what, if you can find one of those days in the months that are in the spring, then I'll call it intermittent. But they're not going to say that. It doesn't. give you any time frame. It doesn't say anything other than, as long as that stream is not in a drought condition and hasn't been affected by a man-made occurrence. And so while we were on our walk, what we said was, okay, so does what happened on Devon's qualify as a man-made occurrence? Now, what Cal is saying is, okay, it is. Now what? The regulations don't say what to do then. The regulations don't say whether those 4 days apply. It almost feels like we're at a point where we need to go back to DEP and say, yes, we meet the 4-day standard, but we also have a effect on the water supply due to a human-made flow reduction. So therefore, what now? Did I characterize that properly?
What I'm thinking, unless Scott has some guidance to offer.
There's more complicated factors too, and that is that the stream channel that we observed on the upper end is nowhere near the stream channel that's mapped on USGS map.
That's one. And two
That's
is
very important. Yeah.
what I was trying to convey, really via Megan, was the intent that impoundments or diversions are from the main line itself, not for water that's coming to the main line. So in other words, water coming off the road goes through a series of forebays and basins and swales and so on to make its way to the stream channel. But the water that could be flowing during a rain event in the channel is not stopped and it's not diverted.
So you're saying, in other words, the stream channel isn't impounded.
Correct.
So my argument would be, but the stream channel was basically fed with all that sheet flow in the past, and so now that sheet flow is impounded. And so
I think it's a difference between impoundment and time of concentration increase, which spreads the flow out over a period of time, which then keeps from having the real heavy hit flow all at once. It spreads out over time, so it's a lesser flow. And
well, assuming it goes into the stream bed from those areas, which I guess the question would be, how do you then measure how much is direct recharge into the aquifer and doesn't go into the stream
and
bed?
some of it is impounded. It clearly is.
Right.
It's infiltrated.
So I guess what we were saying was is that we've never had to answer this before, okay? And there's sticky wording in here. And while I very much appreciate that both Bonnie and Jess are disappointed in what the language is, I don't know that there's an argument to the language. In fact, I don't even think Megan is making an argument to the 4-day language. Megan isn't saying, I wish they had picked 4 different days, or boy, that's not the way we like that to happen. What Megan questioned was exactly what we just said, which is, well, did the work that happened on the roadway effectively act as an impoundment or diversion? And so now the question becomes, if the answer back to Megan is, yup, what now? Then the question becomes, okay, so is the stream now inherently intermittent? Because there is an impoundment and the impoundment was done to improve the flow quality in the stream. It's not like the impoundment was done to hurt the stream. It's not like the impoundment was done to damage the stream. If anything, the impoundment was done to improve water quality in the area.
That's true.
So now what?
Right.
So while I very much appreciate disappointed you are with the 4 days, and I can tell you that I joined this commission 15 freaking years ago because of this same language up at Elizabeth Estates, which has been a disaster. It's 4 days. And I've been involved in other projects where we did that. The only question was the language that follows, which is, yeah, but what were the human effects? And so the drawdown from the wells. So did you talk to Sean Munier?
I did.
And did he write you anything that says that there were no drawdowns?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There were drawdowns. There's drawdowns continuously, but it follows a peak through the summer months, August being right in the middle, and it has a very low point, December, January, where we are right now, when the stream flow should be highest. So, I mean, all this is kind of pointing to, it really doesn't matter what the well is doing 900 feet away from the stream.
No. Excuse me. I'm just, okay. So we don't have anything in writing, but the answer is it's upstream.
Spreadsheet.
Right. But it's upstream of where this occurrence is. Okay.
It's down.
Excuse me, downstream.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
900 feet downstream.
Excuse me. North is up, and that's, my bad.
900.
So it's downstream. So number one, the first item, effect of a withdrawal from the water supply. Well, it's in the wrong way. Okay? So let's just cross that out, because I think we can. Then it says direct withdrawals. Well, as noted, that stream starts at Robbins Pond. It is now daylighted, comes continuously over. There are no withdrawals that are happening from the stream as part of the project that happened before or anything since.
And there are no wells upstream.
Impoundments.
Right.
There are no impoundments. In fact, now the water comes out of Robbins Pond. No flashboards
Free-flowing,
today.
no flashboards at all now.
Okay.
You know, John Marcarell at Mass Development Engineering stated what I wrote in here, that they no longer, the flashboards were used because there was such a long section that was culverted. They would need to, you know, let the water build up in Robbins Pond and then pull the board so it would flush the line.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they did that. And now, since it's been opened up, there's no reason to do that. They don't put flashboards in.
So they did the worst possible thing before, and now they don't do it anymore. Okay, so let's use that to cross impoundments off. Okay, then or other human-made flow reductions or diversions. And so this is where we say, well, we were wondering, does what happened constitute a human-made flow reduction or diversion? And the answer is yes, it does. Is it a bad thing, though, is the next question. And that's not easily answered in what we have here. So did the stream go from being a perennial stream to an intermittent stream solely because of...
You mean the reverse?
What did I do?
You said-
No, I said perennial to intermittent.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Did it go from being a perennial stream to an intermittent stream simply because they diverted all the water that used to flow into it off of the roads in Devons? I guess that's a possibility, but I don't know that I'd say for sure. But I can tell you that that stream is now dry, and it didn't used to be. And so, yes, there's been an impoundment or a flow impediment or a flow reduction into the stream. Okay. But it's not a negative flow reduction into the stream. So maybe the stream just went from being perennial to intermittent, but it's not bad because it was perennial, because it was basically a drainage ditch, and now it's not a drainage ditch anymore. Before, it was everything off the roads. It was everything from those soccer fields down. That all came straight down, hit those sewers, and hit the structures and went right in the stream.
So above your head, we have the culvert expedition.
It was so exciting.
It was so cool. So it turns out this concrete was probably added when they added a siding
Right.
to the train tracks.
Yeah, the other side is the
Stone.
original.
Yeah, yep. So this ice on the side of the culvert and here is where water was sometime recently.
Sure.
And this is wet water under the ice. This whole culvert situation and building of the train tracks may have been a human-made. Is Scott, you and I were looking at the landforms as we were walking away from the culvert, saying, that doesn't look like it was always like this.
Right.
Yeah,
Dredging
dredging
and
and
casting
piling
up into the
and
forest and everything.
yeah.
And in fact, one of the things that I'd be interested in, because I had never been in a position to find this out, so one of the things that you just said, I'm going to respectfully disagree with.
Mhm.
I don't think the water was that high. I think that it was so cold that ice formed higher, because I don't think the water was that deep when that ice formed up there. I think there's some expansion to that. And the only reason I say that is that where some of the places that we stepped, the ice was 9 inches higher. I don't think we'd had any cause to have that much water in that flowing at that time, 9 inches higher. And I
I think we had a big rain event
Yeah.
not too long
Yeah, a
ago.
couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
the only thing I can tell you is that culvert does not run like that anymore. At least not in my experience. Now, my experience is all south of where we were. All my experience is what's been feeding it.
Yep.
That doesn't change that manhole structure that's in the center of the highway that water literally pumps out of, doesn't change the water that comes off of the main road.
Yep.
So I guess now talking it out, maybe there was that amount of water in there before. I just wouldn't have expected it based on what I saw upstream.
I talked to Mark Wetzel today about the fountain in the middle of the road. And
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, I've got to send my guys out there." So they spent a lot of time out there trying to figure out that whole confusing. Why is that?
Well, so
John Marcarell
when
had
you-
a little bit of, anecdotal information about that,
Yeah.
basically it was the Army Corps, and when the road moved or something, they would just, deeper, that's the head wall of a deeper culvert.
Right, and that's what he told me, but Mark Wetzel
yikes.
doesn't really have, he doesn't know firsthand if that's the
How could
case.
he?
I know, it's a mystery, but
So-
they're working on it.
So I guess the point is that the only question when we left the other day, if I may be so bold, the only question was, what can we learn about the human effects on Devons that may have caused the water flow through this area to be decreased?
Right.
Because based on the pictures and having no belief that Scott falsified them, based on the pictures, the criteria is met. It is no longer a perennial stream.
Oh, I believe that it was dry.
Right.
For 4 days.
Right.
But it wasn't dry when we went out the other day. It was
It could
flowing.
be dry for 4 days in the worst weather we've ever had, as long as it isn't a drought, and it counts.
True.
I'm not.
Yeah, true. I know.
100 feet
I
up
know.
here, it was dry.
Yeah.
So I'm getting
Well, it's a huge wetland system, though. I mean, if you look on all the maps, it's a huge, and there may, yeah, it's unfortunate that
But it wasn't dry here.
couldn't.
It's my new boots.
I know.
So that means
How
so-
deep are you in there?
Can you, if somebody wasn't there for good reason, what I'm hearing is you're saying it was dry. You're saying it wasn't dry.
I
And
saw-
I'm saying
No, there were periods where we went through.
So
So remember, from here, actually, I wish we had the map up.
Got it.
You drive.
I don't know how to get.
Well, click that thing,
Oh.
two files, and you should find your thing down at the bottom, probably.
Well, I want to get to my drive because that would give me. I think what you're looking for, Bill, is the overall map.
How about, are you Debian
Yes.
IN? There you are, on the right, bottom left, I mean, sorry. Up,
Left here.
left on the side there.
On the blue.
Oh,
No.
well, thank you very much. All right, so, and we have.
Stormy Daniels.
Are these the direction you were going, Bill? The overall.
Yes. Thank you. Does it work as a laser?
This thing,
Uh,
it might.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Hey,
Yeah, there it is, but it gets lost on
I've
the
been
screen.
told, right, it doesn't work on the screen.
How does that make sense?
So can I? here.
It's a touch screen
I'm
though, so
imagining
you
where
should.
It's a light.
I'm imagining where you're pointing.
All right. So, out here is the roadway, and so if you were coming from Shirley, and you were headed around the curve, here's Shriver, okay. This is the spot where, in the middle of the road, it's actually probably close to out here. This is where the manhole cover is, where the water pumps out of and makes a fountain when we have a heavy rain event. There's a culvert that runs under here, which for some strange reason has a concrete face inside of it.
It's over here.
Makes all the sense in the world. No, can't be.
Yes.
Isn't this your stream channel?
No.
This is.
Oh, this is.
same
Oh, I'm
place.
so. Excuse me. I was looking at the green line.
Yeah.
My apologies. So that's over here. So actually, the sewer manhole's down here. Okay. As we came over here, there were a couple different things happening. Number one, there was a catch basin that had a pipe that dumped right into here. There's the culvert, which appears to get water from across the street, which is actually where the stream comes from, over in front of Shriver. The stream, if you were to go back to Parker, the stream is above ground for a little ways and then goes underground, right at the driveway for Shriver, stays underground, and then somehow comes over to here.
Right.
Okay, so we have that input. We have the road dumps in here, and the curbing is gone. The road totally dumps in here. And then we have whatever the hell is going on with that manhole. Okay, the water came back in through here, and so I was standing right about there in what had to be a foot of water. Okay, you can tell based on those super cool boots,
Yeah.
which I really was happy about. Then, so is this the railroad covered, or is it farther away?
It's about there. It's like right here. It's right.
Plus or minus in
it's-
this area?
Right.
Okay, so we were in through this area because we walked around like this.
We walked through it.
Yeah, At some point we were on the side, we
We
were
came
off the
out.
side.
Right. We came into the woods here to walk.
Oh,
around.
right. I'm sorry. That's the wetland line. That's the flag line. This is the tree line.
There's a second flag line that's not shown here that Scott hung when he walked the site that's this way, which is the stream channel inside this wetland flagging line.
Okay.
Okay, so it's in here.
Well,
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. This is what you determined to be what looked like a change in flow direction of the stream, whether sediment had built up here, so that during low flow times it flowed this way, but for whatever reason the stream had changed and there had been some flow in this area. After this, it was at periods where it broke through the ice here, it was dry. Okay, so this did not continue on. Okay, so that was one of the things that we were trying to identify was, is this the new stream? Is that a change? And the answer was no. After here, we walked through, there was a wetland system. The stream area on this other side did have ice. There had clearly been flow in it at one point, but at places where I broke through the ice over here, sometimes just for fun, there was no flow. Now, that's not to say that water coming from this direction didn't contribute to the water that we saw in the culvert. Okay? So we did not walk this
But we did.
because it was
follow-
thick.
But we did follow the flow. It
Right,
wasn't
right, right,
like
right.
There was a stream that we said, oh, we're
I'm
not going to go there.
I'm just trying to
Yep.
fill Jess in on.
Yeah.
So the brush was too thick here, so we did not walk that.
Right.
But when we got down here, that's when we got into the culvert, and there was water
Yep.
in the culvert. Not necessarily flowing
I
water,
was sitting.
but there was water in the culvert. So at that point, what we said was, okay, so to be clear, the applicant observed 4 days with zero flow, and here we are. We had water in the channel. We had water over here, which was still flowing, dissipating into the area over here. We did not follow this out, but when we got down to the end, the water that was in the channel, so whatever was happening in here was dispersing enough that the water that there was water, and I guess I would be happy to take everyone's opinion. There was water, but it was not moving in the channel, in the culvert.
Immediately outside.
Based
the culvert.
upon broken ice and looking at the stream bed, at the culvert, the water was not flowing.
The railroad culvert.
Railroad culvert.
But just 50 feet, 100 feet upstream of that in the same ditch, there was no water at all. So it
yeah,
was,
but that's far, far away from the site. I guess my argument is that stream was
and-
flowing up to a point, but flowing up to what point?
and that's where
Right.
it gets in, that's a good point, but that's where we get into the definition of a stream, of a perennial stream.
Right.
It starts at the end of the intermittent stream and goes therefore downhill
Right.
until it hits
Right.
the ocean, basically.
Right, right.
And that is not what's happening up here. It's flowing downhill and then, it disappears into a wetland.
Right, right.
So I know you read that, and
Right.
to Scott's point, and again, we don't run into this very often,
Yes.
right? A river is any natural flowing body of water that empties to any ocean, lake, pond, or other river and which flows throughout the year. Rivers include streams, which are perennial because surface water flows within them throughout the year. Intermittent streams are not rivers as defined herein because surface water does not flow within them throughout the year. When surface water is not flowing within an intermittent stream, it may remain in isolated pools or it may be absent. When surface water is present in contiguous and connected pool riffle systems, it shall be determined to be flowing. Rivers begin at a point an intermittent stream becomes perennial, or at the point a perennial stream flows from a spring, pond, or lake. So we have a pond. Downstream of the first point of perennial flow, a stream normally remains a river, except where interrupted by a lake or pond. Upstream of the first point of perennial flow, a stream is normally intermittent. So, where I think what you were wondering is, okay, but if it flows to here, is this a stream up to here? And unfortunately, the definition says that empties to any ocean, lake, pond, or other river. So, in this case, it empties into a wetland,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to emptying. If it had continued all the way through to non-aquacious,
Mm-hmm.
then it would meet the definition
Mm-hmm.
of a perennial stream.
Right, right.
And the only reason, so I wasn't happy, but I understood where we were going with it. The only question that I wanted to have answered was, okay, well, the directions here are very specific. Was it different because of human-made flow reduction or diversion? And so the question was, well, is it? And the answer is, yup. And so now the question is, so what? So now the question back to DEP is, and probably the best way to phrase it is, okay, Megan, we're not sure that hiring a hydrogeologist is going to change the opinion that the answer is yes, but our question is, what does that mean, since the work that was done potentially does change what the flow is, but for the better?
If I may, I don't think that what she is saying, or we've made a proper determination here that we have a man-made diversion or impoundment as intended in those regulations as written.
Well, I agree with you that we don't necessarily have an impoundment, but I would say that we have a diversion.
We're not diverting any water from the stream channel. We're slowing it down perhaps, but we're not diverting it away from the stream channel.
Like in a cranberry bog.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Where,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about
Right, you're not,
how,
yeah.
how this was probably written, based on my experiences. 6 or 7 lawyers sitting around with one token wetland scientist and a few DEP reviewers, and they're coming up with these terminologies not based on years of experience going to meetings like this and dealing with real world situations. And if you think about the terminology in the water withdrawal section, it makes perfect sense if you have a stream that goes through a pond that has an outlet control structure on it, and the guy who owns the thing says, wait a second, my consultant says if it dries up for 4 days, it'll be intermittent. I'll just shut off the thing in August when I know it's the lowest, and I'll get those pictures. So that's saying, you can't do that. And all of those reasons that they have here are based on the premise that this could be turned on or turned off. In other words, if there's a reservoir, they had to pump it down a certain amount one year, but next year they maybe don't have to do that, so it'll go back to
Right.
its natural conditions, right? Or you divert the water out of a cranberry bog until you get the pictures. You can't do that. You can do it the other way and get it back in the natural. So that's what we're struggling with here. It doesn't meet that scenario that I think that this was written for, which when you read it in that context, you think, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to do that. Or sandbag it. Trust me, I've had a lot of propositions of what you can do. What can I do to make the stream go dry? No.
Quite a bit, actually.
Who's diverting the water?
So, Cal, you got a point?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point. I mean, part of your responsibility as Conservation Commission is to make sure that if there is a river, it gets the appropriate protections. That's really what this determination does. And what I'll offer to you is, while we clearly don't believe it's a river, the protections that we would give if it were a river are the same protections that we're giving on the site plan right now. The protections of controlling the flow off the site, of water quality, of whatever we need to do to reduce the flow, to preconditions, all of that's happening. And it won't happen any differently if you determine that that was a river. It would not result in a reduction in the size of the buildings on the site. That's really not something that's going to be required. But more importantly, what it will do, and what we're doing already, is adhering to a strict standard of stormwater control on the site. And as we do that on the site anyways, I think it takes some of the gravity of your decision away, because it's not a situation where if you decide it's a river, the project gets cut in half and we've got to put all this stormwater in, and if you say it's not a river, we can just shoot all the stormwater right into the intermittent stream and nobody worries about it. So it's a I just want to...
So if we decided to argue it was a river, the project wouldn't change, it would just have to be reapplied with the...
Right, and
So,
we're
my
not
question-
happy about that, because if we were to just say, okay, yeah, go ahead, consider it a river, now we've burdened this property forever with riverfront status, where it probably really shouldn't have riverfront status.
Well, to your point, so I can't imagine that they would allow you, though, to do that infiltration basin in the 100-foot
Yes.
inner riparian, would they?
It is.
In the inner riparian?
Yes. Stormwater is excluded from that. But moreover, I think the important point to make is, if you were to try, want to look at this as if it were a perennial stream that was somehow affected, and we made some concession that the stormwater improvements that were put in place to clean the water properly before it gets into the stream, and there are no diversions made out of the stream, but that somehow constitutes a grandfathering of this into being a perennial stream and having the riverfront protection resource area put on it, you still don't meet the definition for this channel to be contiguous through this property. It ends into the BVW in a braid of, just flattens out. It's got a discontinuity that doesn't meet the definition for a perennial stream because of that BVW. So you're then going into another category of undefined resource. Whereas exactly what Cal was saying, we're providing all of the stringent drainage and stormwater controls for water quality and quantity that are required. Ironically, we have to reduce, be at or reduce the amount of water that's going into or leaving the site. So it doesn't seem even possible to define there being a river through this property because of the discontinuity of the BVW that's identified. The site walk shows that, maybe it didn't show clearly enough.
There's
but
so many other arguments, though. I totally agree with you, but another argument, we could make as a commission is that because this is in an ACEC area, we could do could be 100-foot, right, from the BVI, right? I mean, nothing, right?
I don't know.
So
I mean, it's a pretty.
Not sure what your point is.
So in a protected area, right?
Right.
Nothing really should be done 100 feet from the flag area.
Well, we would
Right? It
have
should
to
be
have
protected.
a bylaw that said that. The shoulds are great,
Right.
but the cans are different.
Yeah.
So,
Bill, just the other point I want to make is, you went back to saying, well, on the USGS it shows it as a river. The USGS shows the old channels, not
Yes.
the new channel.
Right.
So if we're going to go by USGS, it's the old channel, and it's largely, doesn't affect our project at all, except for right at that very beginning where there'd be a little bit of riverfront that we'd be disturbing, and after that, it's well off the site. So, I think the only point I'm just trying to do is to put it in perspective for you that if you decide it's an intermittent stream, which we clearly, honestly believe that's the case, and will remain that way forever, you're not loosening the standards of stormwater management on us. We're still meeting the same stormwater management standards that we do either way.
So at this point, what we were looking for to do was to make sure that we had done our due diligence and gone through every element of the language which is available to us to make sure that we had properly said, if anyone were to come ask, holy smokes, there's a stream right there on the USGS map, we could say, actually there's a blue line there on the USGS map, but the investigation that was done for this particular filing showed that that is no longer a perennial stream. It's an intermittent stream under the definitions of the state 10.581 section F. So, once we followed up with that, we said, what are the other items that are listed? Would this be considered an impoundment or not? I guess the question becomes, if you divert sheet flow from a street into a stream, is that a human impoundment or diversion? I agree what the language is supposed to be, but at the same time, I can see that also is a diversion of the water. I'm not saying it meets the definition, I'm just saying it's a diversion of the water. So,
Delay.
but I feel comfortable, except that not all of it necessarily goes in the stream from that point. It's because some of it is going to, some of it's going to go right down into the into the aquifer. But that's not a negative, it's just a difference in what happened from one time to the next. All I'm trying to do is make sure that if we were to, I would rather make sure that it passes our red face test before we file it in any way, shape, or form, because A, it's the right thing to do, and B, because at this point, I don't know that we could do much more to investigate what we've talked about. I know that the flow has changed, and I know that the flow through areas of that stream are now diminished, and there were 4 days when the flow was found to be non-existent. So by all definitions, it's not a stream anymore. What I would be happy to do is to also say, because I would think it would make sense, is to say, okay, exactly to Cal's point, but let's say that that was a riverfront. Let's say that we were within riverfront area. What would the changes be? And based upon what the applicant is telling us, there's no difference between what they would be applying with if this was riverfront or if it wasn't riverfront.
Well, do you remember the window light box day?
There's a slight difference on the corner, Bill. I think Cal,
Right.
maybe we,
But is that with the new channel or the old channel?
it's with the map channel. There would be, if we were out keeping impervious area out, there would be a clipping of the corner of, right, if you can see behind you somewhere.
Of which,
Right in through here, because of this bulb right here, these two flags,
Yeah.
that would be, somewhere in here is the 100-foot.
well, if I'm looking at it here, so these are off the flags.
Off the
Wetland
for the
flags.
wetlands, yeah.
Yep.
So if you scale, and it's maybe off the sheet, but it would be in this corner.
It actually extends into the building. If you go to the-
100-foot wetland buffer does, and so that's what I'm suggesting is that there would be something in this area off this corner that would happen with the 100-foot riverfront.
But the stream's a little further from the corner than the BBW. So the buffer that you're looking at would be
Diminished in
pushed a
some.
little bit back.
A little bit farther.
And that's if we were to concede that that was the actual stream channel for which we're referencing the perennial stream, even though it's not the blue line.
Right, so the point at that point, although
We'd have to go back to
I
that
agree with you
discussion.
with it would be a minor clip, but it would be a major change because you'd have to move the project significantly to account for the 20-foot space to go around the building.
Probably end up losing a
There-
little bit of the building.
Yeah.
I'm not picking fights, I'm just simply
No,
saying.
That's correct.
It would, so it would be minor, so what it would be is, it would be minor from from an impervious surface standpoint. It would be
There would be
minor
a
from an
reduction.
impervious, right, there'd be a reduction, there would be a minor impervious surface reduction if it happened.
That's correct.
Okay.
Is this under previously, what's the word, previously built on?
Redevelopment
Yeah,
versus new development.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't got there yet because
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Well,
I
riverfront only.
So,
Yeah,
so
right.
what
But
would
it is
happen?
degraded.
Yeah, degraded, yeah.
But there's two different categories with that. One is for the stormwater application and another one is for the riverfront area. Specifics of the regulations. So stormwater is a different definition of degraded than the riverfront area does.
Mhm.
The riverfront area, it depends on what's there now. We'd have to evaluate that exact corner. The whole thing, really figure out where the pavement is and.
the existing.
The
old-
existing
old
pavement.
Mhm.
Yeah, the existing
Right,
pavement. And that can be counted as degraded.
yeah,
But in any case,
right,
like it's been explained, it'd still be required to do stormwater
right,
infiltration.
right.
So here's a crazy thought. What if we were to say that the river is not perennial, but we are interested in protecting the part of it that does have water flowing in it by reducing the impervious surface a little bit on that corner. It wouldn't burden the property forever
Wow.
with a perennial stream
We are
designation
protecting-
and a riverfront
Mhm.
situation, but we would be respecting where we know the water is all year round.
Well, I think we are doing
Well, I
that
think-
with the stormwater management we've got on the site.
Yeah, all this area is, again, taking away whatever the, degraded asphalt is, and it's putting stormwater controls on this entire project.
I think that's not a meaningful difference. It would be a meaningful difference for us if we had to reduce the building, but in terms of providing additional protection to the intermittent stream, it's kind of a meaningless protection. You have to bear in
And
mind,
actually,
I mean, ever since Bill Well dove into the river in 1996, they've had this definition of riverfront that we've been using all along, and for good or bad, and written by lawyers versus hydrologists, whatever it is, that's what it is, and that's what we've been using all along. I was not trying to say, and I misspoke, I didn't realize that corner changed, but in any case, the setting I was trying to give you is, it would not be a big difference that we'd be required to do for stormwater quality. The stormwater quality is gonna be there, and it would be there under the exact configuration we've got now as well. And it's gonna protect that stream because we're required to protect that stream, whether it's intermittent or whether it's just wetlands. We're required to protect it with the stormwater management measures that are in place, and I'd
Right.
say that
But if
it's gonna be effective.
if in a different world it were a perennial stream, it would kick off riverfront and you would be required to reduce that corner.
We would, that's
Right.
right.
and
So I'm saying, why not do it anyway?
Because it's an additional burden to the project that we don't think is required. And I know we could just give in and say, yeah, okay, we'll do it, and Calvin Moore would hit the roof.
He just
And-
did because you thought it.
Yeah, probably. But the point I'm trying to make is that we're giving you very solid evidence that it's not a stream. And the only thing I was trying to say, again, is the gravity of your decision, there's not big changes riding on your decision. That's the only point I was trying to make.
But
There might be little changes.
But there is a
riding on it.
change riding on the decision.
A change, yeah, a small change, but a
Yeah.
change.
if you look at it from the other perspective too, is that the more that if we stick with the intermittent definition, then more work can be done to, one of the things we talked about last time was the floodplain, the
Mhm.
mitigation associated with the floodplain, and there was some requests about adding some native plants into there too, which is another thing that we often do in restoration areas. Native seed mixes, native shrubs and trees, wherever they can be, that they're not gonna interfere with the engineering of the drainage. So, I mean, we could do more of that in that whole area and get rid of that old debris that's in there. And that would work out okay for everybody, because then we get rid of some of the bad things that are there. We do more restoration. It's in the buffer zone, yes, but it's in a part of the buffer zone that's already been altered for 30, 40 years, however long that goes back.
I think it should be a win-win for,
I think that would be, yeah.
everybody, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And that edge is where northern edge is where some of the floodplain restoration is going on.
Right.
And the southwestern edge, we're trying to be very light touch in there because that's the closest to the wetland. But at the same time, we could be proactive and do some additional clearing of material in there while the machines are in there and do some planting.
That we'd be allowed to do if it was not being moved.
Yeah, well, you might be able to do it under riverfront too, but it's a lot easier if it's not.
So no, go ahead.
One of the things that you raised at the last meeting was questions about where that compensatory cut was going to be made and the extent of clearing leading up to it. What were your findings on the sidewalk?
So it was, by the time we showed up that day,
It's up on screen, though.
thank you. By the time we showed up that day, that had changed. So the reason I was concerned was it was literally going to give us our closest work to the actual wetland itself, to the actual resource, based on the flagging. And what Kyle was able to do was shift it to the left so that it took it into an area that was more upland what we did discover is that everything from about here to over here is a brush dump. And that's part of what Scott is talking about with an area that not only are they going to have to remove some of that to do their original work, but it would probably be helpful to remove that if we were to do some sort of plantings in that area.
And so on the last page of the most recent plan that we have to work with, it's showing snow storage over the new compensatory cut area.
Even just given, so there's going to be an office here. Does that mean it's going to be staffed?
One would think so, at least part-time.
Okay. So what I would anticipate, based on the fact that the buildings will have concrete foundations, and the concrete foundation of the building would be surrounded by asphalt, I would expect that that they would go around and check. I guess the issue is, what is potentially going to be stored here that would be any different than a gas station or someone parking a car in the same location? And figure someone stored their motorcycle in one of these containers. It wouldn't be, I don't know that it'd be substantially different. Well, no, I'm just walking through what the,
We're in an aquifer, and the Board of Health, we've talked to Bridget Braley and worked with her. She's taking this to the chairman of the Board of Health to say that this is really not within their jurisdiction for a special permit. So aside from that, the ZBA comments that Megan issued, which in her mind is like, this is what we're talking about for the Board
wait,
of Health.
ZBA Megan?
No, that Megan issued for the ZBA review of the use, for the application for the use to be permitted here.
Oh, I'm just sorry. Who's Megan?
I'm sorry, Bridget.
Bridget.
It got
Megan.
confused.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, Bridget's comment was, this is, there can't be any storage of any toxic or hazardous materials and so on and so forth, and that's actually written into the lease agreement for the project. If you issue that as a condition to say that the restrictions per the Aquifer Protection Overlay District apply, maybe that's
We'd be
a
right
reasonable
there.
condition, because we're already going to do that.
And we could even ask for the applicant to submit a copy of a standard lease agreement so that we could put it in the file and say that if the applicant, we could, as part of the condition, say, if the applicant changes this lease agreement in a way that alters the conditions of requirements for the lessor, that they need to notify us. So, and again, I don't know that this is much different than any house we permit that has a garage, and a lot of the people nowadays are driving cars.
No, but it is floodplain, aquifer, and ACEC, so I'm just like to have that thought out.
No, I'm glad you brought it up.
Did you listen to Wait a couple of weeks ago where they talked about the storage container that had methylene in it?
It was last week. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I did.
yeah.
Is that in the
should
lease
say no to
agreement?
that.
That's in the lease.
It would
No
be-
meth labs.
They can do that.
It actually depends on which building you're in. That's where the key indicator is. Okay, I think you make a good point. We need to be cognizant of it. I just don't know that I don't know that we would make a condition that would be any different than what they're already probably doing under their own insurance.
Right. So that would include the procedures plan in case of something based on somebody renting a unit and unbeknownst to the owner storing horrible stuff.
Eviction.
But meanwhile,
The cleanup. She's referencing the cleanup.
Got a reference protecting a procedure to reference protecting.
I think that would include a phone call to the fire department.
Yeah.
Let's start with what the lease states, because clearly they don't want to ruin their own buildings. It's my guess. Anything else? Anybody? Okay. I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to February 8th.
So, well,
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. See you on the 8th.
See you briefly on the 8th.
Briefly.
Let's hope that Megan flies through it.
Briefly,
I don't know.
Flies through it.
get us out of the way.
Maybe not. Hard to say.
If I brought a flask with me.
Well,
Wow.
Does it say ACC on the side of it? Because then we're talking.
You're gonna stay and help us with policies and procedures? Yeah.
And it's wrong to
I don't
donate
have any
pizza, so don't even think about it. Actually, is it?
That's where I work.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. We live different lives.
Yeah.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Night.
Thanks.
I was at a Bruins game the other night. You probably couldn't have attended. Okay. Discussion.
Discussion.
Request for the extension of the order of conditions for Spectacle Pond aquatic vegetation. This is from our friends at Littleton Light and Power. So, for those not in the know, Littleton Light and Power is, and the Clean Lakes Committee, they manage the water at Spec Pond. Everybody know where Spec Pond is? Okay. So, their last automatic extension was from 2014 through 2018, and they're asking us to extend it for a 3-year period to 2021. It is under our purview to extend an order of conditions 3 years. It says only unexpired orders of conditions or extensions may be extended. Extension permit was signed by a majority of the Conservation Commission, copy sent to the applicant. So, is there any comment or commentary on extending their ability to treat Spectacle Pond? All right. I would accept a motion to issue the extension for the permit for the order of conditions for, why is it not on here?
0233.
Well, that's good. It's not on here.
Oh, well.
Are you sure it's 0233
In the,
in the minutes?
In the agenda.
100 0233. So I would accept a motion to extend the order of conditions for DEP file number 100 0233.
So moved.
Quick question, what do they treat with?
second, and then,
Oh, second.
For discussion?
Oh, for discussion, sorry,
Yeah.
for discussion.
What do they treat with?
Yeah, what do they treat with?
Well, I will tell you, the first thing I will say is, do you know what's right next to this pond?
Our wells,
Their wells.
and their wells.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
their wells and our wells,
So they do treatment the exact same way that we do treatment,
okay.
using the chemicals that are available in the state of Massachusetts. In fact, I think, don't they typically, do they send us the results? I don't think they send us their RFP. You weren't here for that last one anyway. Do you remember, did they send us the results or did they send us their plan? They notified us when they treated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've notified us every time when they've treated.
Yeah.
And they've used the same companies we've used, and they're using the same chemicals we're using.
I just have one question on that then. They're using Solitude.
This was an extension, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just checking.
Solitude is now really pushing the use of Clipper, and.
Right, but wasn't that explicitly called out in what we read and said you can't do it unless you get approval from DEP?
Right, so I would just ask Littleton if they're also making sure they're not using Clipper.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my only question would be, but if they are, they would still have to follow the same regulations that we'd have to follow to use it. So they'd have to get permission from DEP,
That's true.
who's going to know much more than we are about whether they're using Clipper or
Although,
Schooner or.
yeah, so one would assume they're not using Clipper, because if they did have to go through DEP,
Thank you.
it would be an amendment to the order of conditions, which we would have seen, and we
Right.
haven't seen that.
Right.
So I would
You'd still like to know.
I would still like to confirm that they're not using
Confirm,
Clipper.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that affect your vote on this extension of this permit of order
No,
conditions?
but I would like to confirm that. I know, you just want to tell me.
All in favor say aye. Aye. No, I understand your concern, but I also feel like, so I know that the state does things, like when we used to file for cell sites, we would file with the department, for the Board of Health. the Department of the Board of Health in Massachusetts, and we would tell them what we were doing, and other people would come and be on the same site, and they would tell them what we were doing. And at one point I said, is anyone figuring out the cumulative effect? And they said, oh, no, no. I said, so why are we all filing? And the answer was, because you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crap. This is the kind of thing where they're doing a filing and it affects a water supply, and I promise you somebody's paying attention far better than we can, because they're going to know much more about it.
True. One always just likes to, not assume that everybody else is calling the police for an accident.
You think you're 99% sure, but you'd like to be 100%
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, because we are a fantastic commission. I don't know if Littleton's as good as we are.
It doesn't matter, because the people who are licensed to do this have to go to the same state people that we're asking to ask.
Yes. Just wanted to confirm.
Will do.
Okay.
You can hit me.
So,
Can't.
I think you had sent me an email and I failed to respond, and I felt terrible, and then I failed to respond again on the RFP.
Oh, it was just had the draft of the cost.
Costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a chat with Robert today about the whole RFP.
I saw him walk in carrying his lunch, very responsible.
I have to say, this morning feels like it was about 6 days ago.
Wow.
That's how every one of my days feels. Go on.
Was that today or yesterday? I don't even know. So Robert is the procurement officer for the town, and if the cost for our weed treatment is for 2008 for the next year
Mhm.
is under $50,000, we don't have to go through the RFP or procurement process. We can make a really good faith effort to get 3 written quotes. And Robert understands that our universe probably actually only is
Encompasses
2
one.
or 1. But we make a good faith effort and do the same sorting procedure. Who's going to do the best job for the smallest price, and it allows us to act in a more nimble, timely manner. If we think it's going to be over $50,000, we have to go through the whole RFP.
So I guess I don't know that there's much difference between those two processes. We still have to ask people to submit their bids. We still have to receive their bids. We still have to evaluate their bids.
Right?
I don't know that there's a huge difference in what we would do. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate the opportunity to go faster,
We don't have
but
to
I don't know that we'd be able to
advertise.
go faster.
We don't have to advertise.
Okay,
We
so that would be a savings. The only thing that's different is we still have to reach out. We still have to find people who want it. So what did we do last time? We listed. Did we list on the MACC website? I think we send our RFP to MACC.
Yeah.
I think that you suggested that, George.
We sent it to MACC. What was the? It was the.
Carly can now send it out on the ComBuys system.
Maybe that was what it was.
Yeah.
Which anyone who's does state permitting work
Yeah,
would
yeah.
see,
Yeah.
right? But I think
She
the
said-
other way we did it the last time. I don't know if we did it. Did we do it for this as well? Did we email people and say, "Hey, look what we do. Look what we're doing"?
Probably, yeah.
That would be the other way to do it. So maybe that does make it faster. But what we're really saying is it just saves us the advertisement, because either way we're going to have to wait the period anyway. No matter what we do, we're going to have to tell them we've issued it and your response is due on X. I'm not trying to poke holes in your balloons. I'm just simply saying the only thing that looks like what we're saving is the advertisement. But other than that, it's pretty much the same process.
Well, I think with us reaching out to people we know, we're in control of that rather than just sitting back and hoping somebody's gonna
Oh, we did both last time.
step by.
I know we did both last time because we were afraid that no one would see it. Because then what do we do?
Yeah, I think Robert is really hoping that you guys will decide not to do the full-blown RFP and just do a good faith effort to find 3 proposals.
Which
That's his
is hard enough in
preference.
itself, because we only had 2 respondents the last time.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and he knows that,
Yeah.
and so if our good faith
So-
only produces 2, that's okay with him.
What if it only produces 1?
Well, we
So
will,
the answer
we
is
will
it's-
have tried.
The answer is it's completely legal under $50,000 to
Yes.
not
Yeah,
use
we
the
just
RFP
do-
Yes.
process.
Absolutely.
The year before was.
Okay. All right.
And he said that the RFP that exists right now can be used as the what did he call it?
Template.
Well, it's what we give Solitude, say, and the company in Branford, Connecticut, as a scope of work. This is what we want.
They're all the way down in Branford.
One other company is, yes, yeah. And
The
Kurt,
helpful thing for them in Branford was it gives them a cost sheet to fill out clearly.
well, yes, just think.
All right. Well, when you do it, if you Google aquatic weed treatment companies in Mass, you get Solitude. Solitude. You get swampthing.us, aquatic weed harvesting, aquatic weed control. Come on. Swamp Thing US. We have multiple offices covering Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Vermont, Georgia, Kentucky, Illinois, Wisconsin, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee. We travel the nation for large projects like ours. Aquaweed.com. So apparently typing in Massachusetts didn't do me any good because this is Michigan. Okay. Aquatic Control Technology out of Sutton, Mass.
Huh.
That's a little dated.
Wholly owned subsidiary of somebody else.
So basically what we're seeing, and I'm not even getting your Lake Huron weed control. I'm not even getting your Branford folks. Who were they?
Oh, I'd have to look up their name. It's in the file.
So I guess, so if what we're saying is, we have a slightly faster method, and most importantly, it's okay with the person who agrees on us using the money or not,
Yep.
then I don't have any problem with that. But I definitely think, could it have been the Lake Doctors?
I don't think so. It's not ringing a bell.
Oh, interestingly, then it comes back and says missing is Branford, Connecticut from that search. Mark June Wells at AER Limnology. He went to Rutgers. Probably forgive him for that. Wait, they are Aquatic Ecosystem Research, 1204 Main Street, Branford, Connecticut.
Okay.
I'll just text it to you.
Thank you.
So, what I am hearing is that we can go forward with what we have. We don't have to issue it as a formal RFP. We can maintain the same format as the RFP.
Yes.
And the only thing that really differs is we don't have to advertise. So tomorrow, for instance, you could take whatever we come out of here with, email it to those 2 companies, do a better Google search than I could do on my phone or than Jess can do lifting her glasses up, and see if you come up.
Yep.
Isn't that the point? Or see if you come up with anyone else who's even willing.
Yeah.
I would try that. Maybe that Vermont
Yeah.
company.
We're
Maybe
not
they're
that
willing to
far
come
from-
south.
We're not that far from Vermont.
No,
Really?
no, we're not.
No.
No, we're not. And it really depends on where they are in Vermont.
Right.
Because there's No My God, Vermont, and then there's right on the border, Vermont.
Yeah.
So, okay.
The other thing we talked about is the possibility that once you guys feel the weeds are really under control and we're at a maintenance phase, to think about a multi-year contract.
Oh. I guess what I'd want one of those people that we're talking to to tell us that they would do it in a multi-year contract, and I still want guaranteed results over that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Greetings and, oh, I'm sorry, was this the email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get home. Offer the following responses. Cost is under 50,000. Don't do formal RFP. Solicit 3 written quotes. So our real problem is soliciting the 3rd quote.
Right, and his words to me were attempt, good faith effort.
Just so you know, that's not what he wrote.
Yeah, okay.
Town would then select the lowest price. Good news, treatment, schedule, benefits, not subject to timelines. Don't have to advertise. I'm excited, but I don't know that it's not going to change your life. Maybe we save 2 weeks.
Well, it's probably getting to the time of year when that actually matters, I think.
There's
Getting on the
36,000 in
schedule.
available funding. If we exceed the amount, reserve fund transfer. With respect to the budget, ask for a recommendation on a dollar amount for weed treatment funding for next year. A placeholder. Discuss with Joanne the unresolved issue of weed treatment funding and the appropriate financial mechanism to achieve this goal. I suggest that I meet with Lisa and Joanne and a commission member to resolve this going forward. Goal is to have a normalized, dedicated funding source moving forward to guarantee consistent treatment each year.
Yep.
And avoid a perennial raise article.
So Robert said to me that money that is raised at town meeting does not sunset.
Right,
Right.
right. That we knew, because we
Mhm.
still have beaver treatment money
Yep.
from thank you, from years ago.
And we can set up a revolving account, has to be done at town meeting, has to be reauthorized every year at town meeting. That's what he's talking about, this consistent funding source going forward.
That's no different than what we have now.
I don't know, actually.
Well, I mean, right?
So operating funds are the ones that sunset. And town meeting article appropriations don't.
Which means you have to go to town meeting every year to beg for money.
But it would carry over year to year if we don't spend it all.
Right, but it means we have to go ask for it every year. So the idea was to have a mechanism where we asked for it once and said, can you just please do this every year?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that seems to be the hang-up, because if you do that and then you don't spend the money, it just goes away. So you don't have the ability to save. So you, instead of being able to say, you know what, we'll take $25,000 a year, and some years we'll spend it, and other years we won't spend all of it, and we'll save it up and we'll use it and spend it in a bigger chunk later. And the answer was, no, you can't do that. Because if you do that, if you don't spend the 25 grand, it goes away. So there is no saving money. Oh, you want to save money and only spend part of it? Oh, well, then you have to come ask every year. That's the part we never got past.
All right, well, he would like to set up a meeting so that we can just sort this all out.
Bring a box of tissues.
Okay, good.
Could we have Lisa and him come to one of our meetings and do it here?
No. I didn't do anything that wrong. Besides, what's going to happen is Lisa's going to say exactly what she said a year or 2 years ago when she said no. So enjoy. Next.
Okay.
So wait. So we have to vote to approve. So
Yeah.
what I would say is we would change this. So right now, here's the cost sheet that you made. The cost sheet has 3 columns, and in the rows, it's surveys and reporting, Sandy Pond treatment, Flanagan Pond treatment, Pine Meadow Pond treatment, and you list your cost to the right. Okay. So that's our bid sheet, right? So now do we want to change? So first off, we don't want to, actually, if you're making a request for a proposal, that's what it is. Does it fall under specific guidelines if it is still called a request for proposal because that's an RFP? Or can we rename it, we'd sure like to know what you'd cost for this weed treatment, right? So do we have to change the name of our RFP because it's not an RFP anymore?
Seems to me the way Robert's describing it is we could just call up Solitude, All Habitat, and company X and say, we want a bid on this treatment. We can give you a copy of our old RFP as a guideline, but here's the cost sheet you have to fill out.
And then reference the old RFP?
Yeah, just not do me, because basically, Bill, who are we gonna hear from?
No, I'm literally, so hold on a sec, so hold on. I have no doubt about who's gonna write back to us.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that I think we just probably need to just confirm with Robert what is the we talk about a 4-day question.
Right.
What is the naming convention in an RFP that isn't an RFP anymore?
Right. Right.
Because if you call it an RFP, does it now subscribe to the RFP requirements? Do you have to name it Fred's Flower Stand? Does it just matter that it isn't called an RFP anymore? I'm not being wise. I'm saying if it's called an RFP, now it's an RFP.
And we would still need all this required information.
Yeah.
Right. So as a result,
Yeah.
yes, it's not an RFP anymore, but what is it called?
Yep, I can find that out.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we could vote on the information that's contained,
Yeah.
what we're asking the people to do, what they have to send us in order to be able to do it, what they have to do in order to provide pricing for that, and what they have to do for a final report when they're finished. We can send all that out. My only question is, what's it called?
Yep.
Right?
Easy to find out.
Okay, and then we.
I just don't want to misname it and all of a sudden,
No.
oh, you guys called it an RFP? Poop.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not even kidding.
so it looks like though we can have a vote, we could vote to approve.
We can vote to approve
something.
the paperwork and the language
Yeah.
with the idea that we are having the baby today and we're naming it tomorrow,
Yeah.
which lots of people do. You didn't do that, did you? Good. You?
No.
The rest of you were smart. Okay. With that in mind, may I? I was going to take it. You have one. So I have before me the pre-discussed request for proposals. It stipulates to how much is to be removed. It also reinvigorates the idea that you must show us your results for what you found for weeds before you treat, before you are allowed to treat, or it doesn't count. And then, of course, it includes all the requirements for workman's comp, liability, etc., that they must do, and that clipper must be used at least in 10% of all pond work. And then there's a tax attestation and anti-collusion.
Next thing you know, it'll be an FBI secret society.
Oh, you're going to love what popped up while we were sitting here. Nope. Just because somebody directed his attorneys to fire Robert Mueller back in the summer doesn't mean we should read about it now. So, I would accept a motion to vote on the criteria that used to be known as the Town of Ayer's request for proposal for aquatic management of weeds, aquatic plant management projects in Sandy Pond, Pine Meadow Pond, and Flanagan Pond, including our new cost sheet.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Do you want to clip that right there? You're good?
I'm good.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Excellent.
And,
Please proceed with what used to be known as the RFP.
and so Solitude, we have to actually fill out that cost sheet with more specificity than they did in the year-end report, right? Because they gave us a range there, 25,000 to 42,000.
Well, but the range that they gave us then had qualifiers, and yes, this
Right.
prevents that from happening.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if you see each one of them says 8,000 to 12,000. You know.
Right. But but when we talk to Solitude, we should make sure that they know we have specifically excluded the use of clipper in case that was more expensive.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, see what you can do to find another company.
Yep.
Yeah.
It did only take 2 seconds to find that there is a company in Vermont, and they've never responded to us. Worst case scenario, they are part of our people we reached out to, whether they respond or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, and then related, I believe, and this is related.
Is this on the agenda?
Well, no, it's related to, with respect to the FY 2019 budget, I would ask the commission for a recommendation on a dollar amount for funding next year. So for the,
So the interesting question is, what will we get back for this? Because this would be more maintenance than major treatment. This would tell us what that number should be. Anything until we get the numbers back is guesswork, right? So right now, we just did a major treatment and it
Right.
cost X.
right,
Now we're suggesting that the treatment should be less because it was just treated last year, more of a maintenance program.
right.
So that number is the number that Robert's looking for 2019, and we won't know until we hear back from people who do this for a living what that number should be.
But we're,
Best estimate, like
Okay.
2 years out, right, from a major treatment.
I'm a little confused.
Robert wants to know how much we should have.
Correct.
So
If we
how much
have-
do you think we should put in the budget?
I have no idea.
And neither do I, but
Yeah.
people are going to write to us and tell us what the number should be when we get back these not our RFP.
Oh, okay. I see. So you're thinking that the number we should ask for in the budget this year is really money that we won't use this year we'll use next year?
I was thinking the price next year will be the same as this year.
The price next year should be the same because
Right.
we've done the major treatment. Now we're doing maintenance. Next year should be maintenance, so the
Okay.
number should be the same.
Okay, so we'll get back to him.
Yes.
Good.
Probably get back to them within 4 consecutive days.
12 consecutive months.
After
So.
Janet's proposals.
Discussion. Nashua River Wild and Scenic Study Committee Draft Stewardship Plan Update.
So,
That's significant.
in your packet,
Oh,
there's a little map that looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's taken from the stewardship plan for the Nashua River Wild and Scenic effort that's ongoing. So I also met with Robert about this, and he gave me these highlights here that you see. This
yeah.
yeah. The big takeaway here is that these 12 towns that are named in bold letters on the map all have to approve this draft, approve the final stewardship plan
Uh-oh.
at their individual town meetings in
Oh.
order for this to then go to Congress. Yes. And
Does it have to be on the
Massachusetts
same
State
day?
Congress or the Congress?
the Congress, this is national park designation.
Oh,
Is this the time to do this?
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Under
Isn't there a guy saying
Zinke.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the website for this effort is beautiful. Cindy, our IT person, put it together. The entire draft plan, all 236 pages of it, are on the website. The committee would very much like comments. They're open to comments through the end of this month.
Yep, yep.
It's very interesting reading.
It's a lot of reading.
I haven't
So,
read the whole thing.
You're
yet,
not
but-
selling it when you do that. It's an interesting read.
It's an interesting long read.
It's
Yeah.
see one more time. It's an
Well,
interesting read.
And the
Anyone would just pick it up and peruse it quickly to give their comments.
The graphics are beautiful.
Yeah,
The mapping
yes,
is
they are.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It tells you why the main stem of the Nashua and not the little piece that runs through Lancaster is included. Lancaster is not happy, I guess,
What they're not happy because they are included or they're not?
because their little minor stem is not included.
Okay, and by the way, it says 12 towns, but when I
11.
count, it's 11.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where. And Brookline and Hollis, New Hampshire, were added late.
Ugh.
So I counted 11. Robert said 12. So the designation is only a
like the last
designation, local control for hunting and fishing and access and all remains as it is. If it's designated, like so many other things, it gives the opportunity to get grants for increasing access.
Mhm.
Probably keeping it clean, etc.
All that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're effectively asking is, could people read through and contribute any comments, and they should send them to you so that we as a commission can contribute our comments en masse.
Yeah, that's a nice idea.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Georges are always the best.
By the end of January,
Congress.
capital C Congress. Yep. Yeah, so that's our discussion on that. That was.
And what is the, there's no information, what is the website? Is it Nash River Watershed?
You sent the link and I opened it right on my phone.
Oh, is it in the email?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nashua River Watershed.
It's Nashua River Wild and Scenic.
Oh. www.wild and scenic Nashua Rivers. Nashua River Wild and Scenic River Study, Nashua, Squanicook, and Nissitissit. There you go.
Yeah.
Essential part of a region's culture, character, and history. They're also an essential part of our future. Well, there you go.
Yeah. It's a very, very nicely written draft.
Oh. Did you know the quote on here? In a country where nature has been so lavish and where we have been so spendthrift of indigenous beauty, to set aside a few rivers in their natural state should be considered an obligation. Senator Frank Church from Idaho, arguing for the passage of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act in 1968. 50 years ago.
Yep.
Let's continue that great tradition.
Yes, right here in.
There's no great mining or fracking potentials along this line.
I think there's a gas line that potentially will go through.
Okay, that's crazy.
You know, if
There's
it
somebody
does-
hoping
if
for a
it
gas
does-
line.
If it does get designated, they can't build any dams here.
Regulation.
I know.
There's some old dams.
I know, which kind of begs the
Yeah.
Pepperell Dam sort of issue.
They are beautiful. We were out to paddle on both of them.
Oh, yeah.
All the two little guys in there.
Yeah.
So does Pepperell have to remove their dam?
I don't think so, but read the draft.
Okay.
Probably says.
I mean, there's a dam right up the street. Right?
Yeah. No new dams. Right. No new dams. No new dams.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Conservation Office updates.
Well, do you want to do
And just so we're all on the same page, we are walking out this door at 10 o'clock, no matter how excited or interested any of you are. Yes. Still tired from the thing that I got to go to that George can't go to. So sorry. Oh, that's right. Robert couldn't go. We did all the accounts payable for the office supplies, which all had to be on separate forms. We paid Solitude for their report. You joined the Mass Society of Municipal Conservation Professionals.
I did, and I went to the
Did you get a pin?
first brown bag was all about stream stats,
Huh.
What? Wow.
which turns out that I had figured out how to use the right way all on my own.
Oh.
Which is
Ooh,
awesome.
ooh. Which is why you did that on our meeting, before our meeting.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
And I found out about a little extra functionality that's kind of hidden in behind the buttons, and it was a very, very good thing to go to. Cool. Yeah. Though it turns out North Andover is really far away from here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I thought, oh.
It really just depends on the day.
Ugh.
Or the morning, the time, I should say, of day.
Yeah, the traffic wasn't too
Have you
bad.
done mileage yet since you started?
I haven't, but I do have I have a log I'm keeping track of.
Speaking of miles.
Lisa says quarterly, as long as I do it quarterly and within the fiscal year. that I accumulated.
When did you start?
October.
So we're nudging.
So you're into the trimester.
Yeah.
First trimester's over.
Yep. Yep.
Time to go in the labor.
No, don't. There's nothing good that can come from where that's going.
I had a pregnant pause
Zero,
there.
zero, zero good. All right, boy, we sure had a long meeting with our friends on the up on the main road there, didn't we? Now. Okay, so so we're going to do our rules on the 2.8 for community CPC. Heard anything from CJ with regard to the work at his mom's house over there?
No. And I should circle around.
Do you know if the order of conditions is still good on that, or
It expired.
it did expire?
Well, based on the work that I'm assuming they're going to have to do, they're coming in with a new order.
And I let them know that they expired.
Have we talked to anybody about the Peroni Park perimeter path? Did you disappoint Jeff?
He was a little sad, but understood, and is going to try very hard to come to the meeting. Andrea is going to bring the NOI early next week. But our meeting falls on the night that he always takes his wife away for her birthday. I know.
Which meeting is that?
It's his first wife.
The
I'm sure he takes his other wives out on different nights.
So if she comes in with the NOI on Monday, I guess that gives her enough time to submit for the 11th?
Well, we have
No,
8,
the
22, and 8. So why don't
22.
So it's not like they're going to do it any sooner. Why don't we just ask her to agree that it's going to be on March 8th, and that way Jeff can be there?
I think he doesn't want to wait that long. There was some.
There's legitimately zero he can do for the next month.
All right. Well, I will talk to him about that.
We hear anything more about Global Montello?
Nope.
They did make it through the zoning board in terms of just a change in use.
Okay.
It was widely agreed that the 3 parcels that would be on were zoned light industrial because that was what the Maxim plant was before the zoning was done, and that there was no good reason to not allow it to change into a
Gigantic mega gas station.
But our old friend Jesse Johnson,
Oh my goodness.
he's working for the company that's representing them.
We haven't seen Jesse Johnson in years.
Yeah.
Literally years.
So, I did ask, actually, although it's not jurisdictional to ZBA, but the issue of buoyancy, where they plan to put tanks, and he said definitely in the uphill area out of the groundwater.
That way it'll flow farther. Sure.
Yeah. But if they do that, they're also going to dismantle the gas station across the street, which would mean a different NOI, presumed for removing the tanks, buried tanks there.
Well, did we determine on our USGS if that was a perennial stream that passes through there? Because I guarantee it isn't.
Yeah, it's not named. It's not named.
It's not on
It
there.
shows up really well on satellite photo,
It sure does.
but it has no name. Because let's go through that
We can only
again.
be upset about the things we can be upset about. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Roger Kennard, has he cleaned up his act?
I left him a message yesterday, and he always calls me back, and he didn't. And the controls in front of the driveway are just in shambles. So I'm back after him tomorrow.
I'd let him know that he's going to need to stop working if he can't maintain them.
Yeah.
And he can come see us if he can't maintain them. And he can't come see us until March 8th, which is how long his cease and desist would be in place for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He's been super responsive.
right up until now.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
So use the cease and desist language?
Oh, I would. Well, because the whole criteria was how careful he was going to be on his severely pitched site with the stuff down at the bottom of the hill. So, yeah, it's kind of the big deal. And you've witnessed this over like 4 days. Was it all week?
I believe it's been more than not consecutive days.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, it was a little straw wattle to begin with.
Oh, it's not even a
Mushed
big
it,
one?
Dissolved
No.
into nothing.
And
Done.
they
See
were
it, right?
Oh, I see
good
that
about
today.
opening and
Yeah.
closing it for a while, and now
And then
the framers are there, and
Different
it's,
crews.
it's
oh, that's nothing.
it's just
Wait till the
mess.
drywall guys get in there.
It's getting
I would
muddy
accept a
and
motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 11th, 2018 with no markups.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That's 111. Do we have any announcements?
Announcements. Let's get the colorful file folders. Announcements.
Oh, crap. It's full. Oh,
There's a reminder that MRPC has a meeting at Devon's February 1st at 6 p.m.
wait,
with
is that
pizza
what?
for
So,
trails?
so is
Trails,
that,
trails.
oh, well, that's cool.
Yep.
And when? February 1st?
February 1st, 6 p.m. in their big meeting room.
Is that Thursday?
Devon's, where in Devon's?
Their big meeting room.
So, you know where it is? It's the,
Vicksburg room.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you go in past,
Vicksburg.
you go in past that restaurant, Vicksburg.
Vicksburg.
V. Victor, Vicksburg. You go in past, you go straight in, you walk in the door, and then, if I remember correctly, you just go down the hall, go to the left, and it's the big room downstairs. Can't miss it.
So it's near Devon's Grill?
Yeah.
Yes, go
It's
past.
like the
Wow.
room. It's
Go
the
past
building
Devon's Grill.
Behind.
Devon's Grill.
Okay.
So that's one announcement.
And what days? That's 2-1 at what time?
6 p.m.
Oh,
Pizza.
well, I heard the food.
Mm-hmm.
And beer?
I don't know. You might have to bring it in a flask. In the Air Conservation Commission
And that's
flask.
to discuss the trail map, right?
Smarter
Yes.
than the hats. Just saying.
The other announcement is MACC conference coming up.
Oh yeah,
Good
we have
job
to.
getting a
A
free
scholarship. Yeah,
I know.
They were giving away scholarships for 20
Good job.
entrance passes to the conference. So I said, for people who just started working,
Oh,
either commissioners or staff,
Go for free.
and
for free.
I said, well, what the heck, I'll just say, I just started, I'd be interested, and
And you won?
And I got one of them,
Fantastic.
so it will cost
I'll
me.
show John how to do it.
Well, I think I sent you an email saying, get in on this.
Do it.
I think the time
saw
has
the email.
passed, yeah.
I'd like to go
That's
with
what I
that.
think I saw that.
Well, you are going. Remember, you're the co-sponsor.
Oh, yes.
So
March 3rd, you're not in Sanibel March 3rd, are you?
Oh, it's March 3rd?
March
That's
3rd.
a long ways away.
Are you in Sanibel then?
I am.
so you made a commitment.
I didn't know it was March 3rd.
Sanibel? I bet you did.
That seems early.
Yeah, I thought it was.
For going to
March
Sanibel? I'd rather go in
Oh,
February.
the MACC conference.
3rd. Yeah. You sure it's March 3rd?
March 3rd,
Aye, aye, aye.
yeah.
So it looks like I'll be meeting with Lee to go over the presentation, unless you wanted to jump to the 4.
No, I'm busy that day.
Yeah. So let me just cross you off.
Like.
Will you be back the 8th for a meeting?
7th, I'm going back the
Oh,
7th.
good,
I'll be back on the 8th.
With seashells.
With seashells.
and a tan.
She's.
It's just you and I.
Oh, whoops.
Bonnie made up. a vacation. Okay.
I think that's all my announcements.
Oh, that was a big one.
I know.
Any accounts payable?
Accounts payable, we have no bill for my attending the MACC.
Feel a woot woot coming on.
Yeah, yeah.
Woot woot.
No bills,
Okay.
no bills.
Let's move to Conservation Office updates. I see the attached updates here dated 1/11/18.
Yes, well, do you want to do that before I tell you about the 2 new applications?
Well,
Because I didn't really put them on the office update.
who goes to Sanibel anymore? All right, so let's talk about Mr. DiPietro. I believe this is the man we met.
Yes.
Is this the man who lived at the end of
Patriot?
Patriot Way? Remember? Yeah.
So
Remember we walked all around in his backyard and his shed?
he didn't send enough big maps, so I think we usually only ask for 2 big maps. Or do we
No,
all-
we have to have 7. We have 7 because it's 6 and 1 for the file.
So here's
Well, one of you can take mine because I remember this. So he's looking to do an addition.
to his garage.
That makes perfect sense, actually. Who doesn't get that?
Yeah.
So, but it also shows, it almost looks like he's adding a patio. Does his application indicate that he's adding a patio?
Oh, I haven't read it closely. Project involves construction of an addition / garage and related grading to a single-family house works within the 100-foot buffer. Proposed garage not in a natural heritage, house and addition. Well, is the patio not there now?
Well, I don't know, it's really carefully called out. 237 by 1, 237 by 6. I
Proposed garage corner, station barrier.
yeah, where's his written, am I missing it?
No, it's after the checks.
Construction of addition garage with 100-foot buffer of bordering vegetated wetland. Okay, so according to this, the patio's there.
Or does a patio not count? A patio and a deck?
Oh, it counts. But according to this, it's apparently there. So he's got existing deck, crushed stones underneath, he's showing the patio, and here's his proposed addition. Okay. So that's number 1.
And the second one is a request for amendment of orders from Steve Mulaney for the very last lot in Ayer on Littleton Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I remember correctly, we walked this site within the last 2 years. And the reason was the person who was considering building on here didn't really want to apply, but wanted to know what we thought, because the idea was the driveway was going to run straight out and it was just going to happen to go through that pesky little wetland that's there, because that would make their life easier. And now the driveway is moved farther down, and now it looks like, are they...
DOT is saying that the driveway can't be on the right-hand side of the lot because of sight lines.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
As it is. Do you know what this is? supremely dangerous
Oh.
right now.
Oh, that's crazy. It is completely crazy.
It is not, it is a scary thing on its best day.
Good luck.
So, but our problem is that in order to do this, they also have to run a culvert pipe under their driveway. So let's see what Mr. Mulaney has to say in the next 3 minutes so we can get to your stuff.
Right.
Consideration issue to Crabtree element. Yeah, remember who came to us? Ruthier. Brent Ruthier came to us. And in fact, didn't want to, remember, it was more of a discussion, didn't want to flag it. We met him out there more as a professional courtesy than anything.
Well, and we walked this in the fall at the end of a Woodland Way 6-lot slog.
We didn't walk in there, but we
Yeah,
walked by
we just walked down
down the
on
road.
the edge of the dangerous road.
Dangerous road.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but we had previously gone there with Brent Ruthier,
Mhm.
and his plan was different than what's in front of us now.
So we're just talking about the water line.
Yeah, the water and sewer, I think, Mark Wetzel said, are coming from behind on this. They're coming down the hill.
Well, they are according to this. It shows them 30-foot wide utility easement for the benefit of lot 0.2 and limit of clearing. Yeah,
Right.
LPS and WS. So low pressure sewer and water. So they're going to have to pump up from here to the, oh my. Oh goodness. But gas goes out to the road. And so does, oh, that's overhead. That's just power out to the pole. Oh my. So this is basically across from, this is the church property,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That little blue and white church.
I think so.
Did I say oh my already?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess the only thing about this is it's just such a terrible spot. And clearly, based upon what we know, they had to actually add. So this was lot O, as in, oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
And they've actually added, well, look at this. So if this is where that spot is, this is all wetland or was all? No, this was.
And I think it says in here somewhere that it was reflagged and a little bit more wetland was added to the wetland.
Well, see, what's funny is, so here's the house over here on lot. So here's the town line.
Yeah.
Wait, this is very different than what was permitted. See this O2? Look at this now. So-
Moved to P1.
Yeah, the house is moved over into parcel D1, which has now been sculpted. The house is moved over into D1, and the driveway loops all the way up and over to come out. That can't be true.
Well, none of this is built.
Yeah, but no. When you look at this,
Yeah.
see this little spot?
Yeah.
That appears to be where the driveway comes out. So the driveway crosses through the wetland and then dumps out through this little spot, this little hole to the road. Which makes sense because our meeting with Brent, he wanted to do something that came out in this area, and we're like, dude. Which I believe actually is a quote from you, George, when we were at the meeting, because he was talking about how he had to move the driveway farther west, away from the horrible corner.
So one thing that I mean, the wetlands have obviously, changed. And is the change due to, you know, opening up Pingree Hill? So, you know, you having more water, less water infiltration?
Well, here's
and
the
more
really
water running downhill?
here's the really interesting question. If Steve said that the wetland has been added to,
I'm pretty sure that's,
okay, well, looking at this used to go in not even as far as the house, okay, and the house was back from the road. Now it goes in beyond the house. According to this new flagging, this area that used to not be wet is now extended significantly up into here. And if I'm holding this correctly, this is cut off more than it was before as well. Oh yeah, no. This is all. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh, I see. Okay, no, wait. Parcel D1 is where the house is now. Where the water and sewer lines were going to come out is now where the driveway comes out. And apparently what he's saying is that, because here's that drainage easement right over to here. So apparently now what he's saying is that this now is wet here, and that's why he has to cross it and then go through it. My glory. Yeah, and the real reason you moved the house over is because otherwise it was well into the buffer.
Right smack in the.
So now instead of putting the house in the buffer, he's put a big driveway in the buffer. And in fact, the driveway, the entirety of the driveway is in the buffer. And it crosses a wetland.
so is this really more than an amendment?
Well, and by definition, this is completely new, but he's gone through the things to make a amendment. So I guess the only question is, as an amendment, does this affect any of the abutters? And I guess there probably aren't any, other than the existing landowner. I mean, I don't remember us having anybody who came in for this.
Folks across the street are still butters.
No, that's true.
They may not like the driveway.
Yeah, you turn to the second page. So on the first page, the yellow area was not wet. On the second page, it's all flagged. So the wetland has expanded into that whole yellow area.
There's no way we can look at this for 3 months.
Oh, no, I mean, how do we take a look at the flagging? What can we even see? And I don't know, I can't imagine that we can beg them for 3 months to just not do it.
Well, it's a pretty fast change of wetland.
Well,
Well, he very, 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 very much insists on coming in to our next meeting. I asked him if he could wait, because we had our next 2 meetings blocked off, and he said, no.
well, then we'll be happy to see him and explain to him when we can go do it. Although at this rate, there's no snow, but we can't reference any vegetation.
All right.
In the 10 minutes we have remaining.
Yeah.
All right, so we have 2 applications. I didn't get to do my law refresher. I had a conflict.
Yes, Carly would very, very, very much like you all to brush up on your conflict of interest law.
So, Pingree Hill,
Yes, I got another report from DeShang, and I asked him, this one is practically incomprehensible. He just forwarded me a report from the developer, and I'm not really sure if it was Glenn, the contractor, or who. And I wrote back to DeShang and said, I don't have any idea what this means. And I haven't heard back from him.
okay. Was the contractor on the email?
Yes.
Okay. I'd swing by and say to the contractor,
Yeah.
someone's going to get back to me.
Yes.
All right, Nashua Street Extension.
Yep, I had a little back and forth with Calvin.
Wait a
about-
minute, record the final orders?
Yeah, the final orders were recorded. The final decision by the DEP commissioner was recorded separately from the final orders, and the copy of it that was recorded wasn't signed. So the buyer's attorney said, please ask Calvin to record these together. And he said, but they've already been recorded. I said, but she wants you to record them together. He said, I'm gonna send this to my attorney.
Why are we even involved?
Because the buyer's attorney wanted to know if there was anything else recorded other than what she found.
Okay.
And I found the signed decision.
No, I
Hasn't
understand, but
been
why isn't she
recorded.
speaking directly to Calvin instead of speaking to us?
I don't know, because we have the orders. I guess.
What does it matter if they're recorded separately if they're recorded against the same deed?
Because the decision from the commissioner wasn't signed. The one that they recorded was not signed.
Yeah, it still seems that's between them.
Yeah, but wait,
well, it is
wait,
now.
hold on a second.
Mm.
So we would have issued a signed decision.
So this is Nashua Street Extension, where I guess DEP, there was an appeal by
Yep.
the neighbors, and so the final order.
But we would have still issued it, we would have still signed it.
Right, that was signed, but the final, there's a document called Final Decision, and it's from the commissioner of
The
DEP.
Okay, he didn't sign it? He or she?
The copy that's recorded was not signed.
Okay, well, that's totally a Calvin problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and he's.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why.
I know, I just answered the phone.
No. Okay, Trevor Trail, how's our mark doing?
Well, I have to find out how our mark is doing. I don't know if he sent that or not.
Have we seen any more work going on down there?
No.
Okay.
No, but Calvin, again, was in wanting the town to release some 5 lots. There's a bonding tri-party agreement.
He wasn't here to see you, though.
No,
Okay.
no,
Got it?
no.
Okay, Kohler Place.
Waiting to hear back from AJ. He and Misty are coming to terms nicely about
Excellent.
the CR.
Okay, Willows.
Not anything much going on. They're finishing up the last 3 units. Rosewood Ave extension. I haven't actually been over there for a couple of weeks. There's nothing going on. Air Solar one is basically the same thing. Jonathan Drive, we're waiting for spring.
Jonathan Drive, did the our applicant ever work out a plan with the building inspector? Because quite frankly, if he has changes that he's making, he owes us an amendment.
Jonathan Drive, we're just waiting for the rain garden to be planted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the one by. Is it Snake Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. No,
Jonathan
he's-
Drive, still waiting on. So all of his commitment to get it done right away, he didn't do it.
No.
Huh.
No. Roger Kennard's broken down
Yep.
controls.
We got that one.
Oak
121 Oak Ridge
Ridge
Drive.
Drive, the one.
Oh, the bath, the porch
Yes,
addition,
Yeah,
nothing
nothing,
going on.
nothing. The hole is dug.
But nothing.
And
An excavator back there?
excavator elevator's gone, the footings that never went in. They tore up their backyard and.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 Sandy Way?
2 Sandy Way, dock license issue, Judy's coming the 22nd of February.
Fantastic. Everyone dressed nice.
That homeowner, I think, apparently went in to see Robert directly and complained bitterly as well.
Yes.
Complained bitterly about the commission.
About the situation. Why can't he just put his dog in?
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, it's good that we're having someone there who can answer that question for him.
Yes. And I will reach out to our resident at 2 Sandy Way and make the invitation. See what happens.
Well, we should do a letter, right?
Mhm.
Did we figure out which properties don't have dock licenses and which ones do?
Well, Jess has a list.
I have a list of who has them. I'll make that, okay. Those two, Joy. But I thought we were,
We should send a letter to everybody, but
yeah, but I thought we said at our last meeting, we would just, this meeting, we would just meet with Judy on our own.
oh,
Because we had so many.
I guess the only concern is that no, maybe we did say that. I guess the concern is then we'd have to have another meeting with her later.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe it does make sense for us just to have the. You're right. No, because you know what? We were also going to talk about the resource management plan.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to figure out to understand where to come from
Okay.
before we have that meeting, because we could have a whole discussion about dock licenses and infuriate a bunch of people,
Right.
only to have Judy say, "Well, you can just do a resource management plan." So we should get our story straight before we
Mhm.
bring people
Yep.
in.
Yep.
Good choice, George. Yeah.
Yes.
231 Snake Hill Road. That's our problem site
Yep. He's gotten his demolition permit and.
for the shed,
Yep.
but cannot build anything. Right? Wasn't the building inspector waiting for a plan for how he's going to deal with his water?
Oh, yeah.
So he literally does not have a building permit at this time.
Right.
Okay. Which means he also, once he comes in, if he changes it, he has to come see us at a minimum.
Oh, yes. No, he's very, he calls. He knows. He's.
Is that right at the end? Before,
It's just before that. So
yeah.
you've got the house, the nice house with the water, front, and then you've got this wooded area, very small wooded area, and there's a cabin back in there. And then you've got a white house. And then there's yet another space that we talked about, or people in town said that the commission was thinking of buying. So,
Nice.
yeah, we weren't. That little wooded area is to be cleared, basically completely cleared, and a house built there
Not completely.
that will flood.
There are trees that will be left.
Yeah,
Both trees will stay in the back, and the basement of that house will flood
Yeah.
year round,
Yep.
without question.
It's like it's in the.
1 minute to go? Yep.
Kohler Place to Sandy Pond Road. Oh, compliance report for the cross-country water main. Fantastic.
Yep.
That was an RDA, right, for us, or NOI?
That was before me. I think it was an RDA, but I.
You need to double check, because I just want to make sure if we need a certificate of compliance, we
Yeah.
want to jump right on that. 144 Sandy Pond Road, my stars, what's that?
That was the ground-mounted residential solar gigantic.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, they're trying to figure out what to do next.
Disappointing. And I see Ted and his neighbor are reconsidering their approach.
Yes. And I haven't heard from them, so I don't know what they have considered. So the BTW's new garage, you guys signed the DOA. Who should pay for the legal ad that we ran?
They do.
They do, okay.
They
So
have a
I need to get a check
Yeah.
from them.
Guaranteed they do. And in fact, you don't need to get a check so much as they need to talk to Lisa and find a way to transfer funds.
Okay.
Think of it that way.
I'll give you some.
They know a girl.
Okay. Crony Park, we're waiting for the NOI.
You said, will there be a fee for the abutters list that's between them and the assessors?
They've already paid that,
And then finally.
The assessors charge them?
$25. Jeff said that he'd pay for the legal ad out of his
Budget.
And Andrea said there wouldn't be a filing fee because it's a town project.
Well,
The town-
yes,
The town
this-
portion of the.
right. The state fee still applies, the town fee doesn't.
Right.
right.
Dog park's getting closer, Air Solar 2 has got everybody all, concerned, the town planner, planning board are all concerned.
Concerned in what way? Didn't it pass zoning and planning?
It did, and I don't really know what their concerns are, but there's a lot of concern.
So if it made it through conservation, zoning, and planning,
I don't know.
where do you,
I think there might be some legal thing going on.
Yeah, I'll find out.
appeals?
Yeah, maybe.
Those would
But
be
you
the
know,
only
we-
legal anything.
But you know what, with the new tariffs, it won't be profitable.
I guess it depends on if they already bought their cells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Self-storage facility near Devon's.
Yeah, familiar with that one. I do remember that one.
Continues.
Global Montello, yep. Brook, wetland stream system,
Yeah.
yep.
I'd post it on the website.
Excellent.
Should I can ask Cindy to do that.
Please do.
Yes.
And resource management plans we'll discuss at our next meeting, or actually, on the 22nd. Land use team,
Yep, Mark, the new planner's picking up steam on public forums for his zoning bylaw update. So if you have a chance to go to one, he would probably appreciate that.
Is there 2 more before
Mm-hmm.
the vote?
Yep.
all right, and
George
after
and I
that,
were there last night.
Oh,
It was
very
last
good.
night? Yeah, the first one.
He said there were 13 people there. He was very pleased.
Good.
And that it was mostly friendly villagers.
That's what he said? Friendly villagers?
That's what I asked him if they were friendly villagers.
all right, everything else is old.
Yeah,
Balch,
yeah.
oh, you found the dam and dike inspection reports?
Yes.
All right, let's bring that next week.
Okay.
We'll be able to sneak it in.
And then invite Wanted Dam people?
Well, why don't we start with just looking at it? It's just
Yeah.
during it. It's just
Oh, okay, okay.
This is
just to get ourselves up to speed, and then we'll do something formal because it's really going to involve reaching out to Mark, reaching out to Robert, and then figuring out whether it's going to move or whether we're going to go to BOS and say, okay, we're not. We need to do something. And because Mark could say, well, legitimately, I don't have budget, or that's not, and at that point we say, okay, well, great. Well, then we're going to go to the Board of Selectmen and find out how they can help us help you. Okay. George, did you have anything, sir?
We are gonna invite Juan and Tam to 22nd meeting.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Chuck. You remember.
And
Laquadera?
inviting CPC.
No.
Charles Lacudera on BCN?
Yeah,
Remember? He would get on, he goes, it's Chuck. Remember?
no.
I don't remember that.
It was the early 80s. Go on.
And inviting any interested CPC to 8 meeting.
Of course. Oh, I figured because we had told Janet.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was letting the other CPC cronies, as you're known.
I know Beth wanted to.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal spending their $500,000.
Oh.
It's just $500,000. Bonnie?
Nothing.
John?
Where's the community dog park on Snake Hill?
So if you were to go Snake Hill Road from the main road,
That's what I'm wondering.
It's with the.
It's in our yard.
With the split rounds. Yeah.
We're not.
if you leave your house and you drive across the street on Snake Hill Road and you go past the apartments on the left
Yeah.
and house on the corner there, and you keep going, you cross over the railroad tracks. Right after you cross the railroad tracks, it's the property on the left.
On the left.
Yep. Mailbox is on the right, and then some of them falling down. Those can't be anybody's mailboxes anymore. Mailbox is on the right, and that property is part of Epic.
Yeah.
That's the soda people. So, and they fenced off their property to keep people out of their water supply. Property on the left, that's where the new doggy park is.
Okay.
Yep.
Close to Harley Hill.
Yeah, before Harley Hill.
Okay.
For Harley Hill. In fact, I think did they come up with it? Isn't it the Must Do dog park?
Could very well
Was
be.
it?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.